Hello, everyone. John Cooper here with Gerard once again to discuss Marvel, but instead of an actual movie, we'll be discussing the entire next phase of Marvel 4, which will last from 2020 to 2021. Let's see, with 5 films on the way. Let's see, and along with 5 Disney streaming service shows. But yes. Anyway, Gerard, wanted to say hello quickly?
Hello. We have a lot to talk about.
Oh, yes. But let's see. Start with what I would say the beginning, the end. What I would probably consider the ending of Phase 4, but Marvel has officially dubbed the end of Phase 3, Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Yeah, which takes place right after Endgame, so I guess it was sort of like a palate cleanser. Well, it was a lot more lighthearted than Endgame, but I think they needed that because Endgame was pretty depressing to watch.
To be fair, the ending is a bit bittersweet, but yes. And I don't mind much the humor, though. Granted, I am a little bit annoyed that the end of Phase 3 is not Endgame itself, but this movie. And not to mention, for me, I kind of disagree with the characterization of Spider-Man being Iron Man Jr. But from my understanding, this is partly due to sort of the Marvel Sony deal saying that if they ever get the rights back, the characters that are in the MCU will be frozen. So that includes the characterizations of each of the characters. That's why we have what we have in the MCU when it comes to Spider-Man. But
Yeah, and there was one thing in Homecoming that they were teasing. They were teasing up Miles. That never happened in Far From Home. That seems to just be dropped.
Yes, and from the look of it, that might be partly due to the Sony and Marvel contract. Partly, but oh well. At least we got Miles Morales in Into the Spider-Verse, which might be my new favorite animated movie of all time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you either have to look forward to Sony's edgy Venomverse, or its Sony animated Spider-Verse, or the MCU's version of Spider-Man. But hey, you got your take your pick. But yeah. Anyway, so let's see. Well, at an overall score, what you have given Far From Home? Out of curiosity.
See, I've seen it twice now. Because I seen it with a group of friends and I seen it with another one who didn't get to see it. On the first time, probably I would say it was better than Homecoming. Not as good as Endgame necessarily. I would put it in like the top 5.
Okay.
That's sort of, I can't really put a number on it.
And for me, I give it either a 7 to 8 out of 10, maybe 8.5. As a standard fun Marvel movie, though I'm a bit disappointed as a Spider-Man movie, but that's just my own personal preference to the character. But yes. Let's see. So anyway, some of the things to talk about. Let's see. Far From Home. Let's see now. Let's see. The post-credit scenes I particularly think are probably the most interesting.
Well, which one? There's 2 of them. Oh, by the way, I should mention this. Oh, big spoilers up ahead if you haven't seen it.
Oh yeah, spoiler warnings for everyone that's listening and watching.
But yeah, which one are we talking about? Are we talking about the reveal or
the reveal? We'll do that one first.
Yeah. They brought Jameson back. Oh, yeah, I was not expecting. I haven't been following the whole them making it, so I wasn't expecting that to happen.
Oh yeah, J.K. Simmons, aka as J. Jonah Jameson, is back in a Spider-Man movie, which surprised me. But then again, I haven't really been following all the details of Spider-Man, so for that was a treat. That was a treat, especially if you're a fan of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies.
But my question was, and I've seen the film twice now, and the second time I was really careful to look at this scene. The scene just before Mysterio dies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's assumed dead.
Yeah.
There's no way he had the time to record that video. Even on the illusion was broke at that stage. There was no way he had the time to record that video.
Oh yeah. Honestly, it seems like a bit of a plot hole or stretching the truth scenario. But yeah, but yes. Because let's see, this would let you know, everyone. J. Jonah Jameson appears with a video sent by Mysterio, one of his lackeys, of framed Spider-Man behind the drone attacks and the London Bridge. Let's see, taking words out of content, just like our mainstream media's today. After all, I think let's see, Alex Jones is catchphrase. The Daily
I think
Bugle.
I think that's what they were. I think it was a bit on the nose with the Alex Jones stuff. The way the background was and the way the desk was.
Oh yes.
It looked very Alex Jones.
Oh yes. And even the way that J. Jonah Jameson was talking, to an extent, sounds like Alex Jones, in which he described Mysterio as the world's greatest superhero.
Yeah.
Let's see, but yeah. Okay, we got a comment from it's from Pterodax says, I know I'm not wanted, okay, but see, that's nothing to do with what was going on, but hey, let's see, but yes.
I mean, I'm not talking about bold stuff right now, I'm just sticking to the topic at hand.
Yes, we'll stick to the topic at hand.
But yeah, we're really like we've had the MCU experiment with stuff like we've had stuff like Doctor Strange to where experiment with sort of getting weird with illusions and sort of playing with how stuff looks and dimensions and all that stuff.
Yeah.
This film, that takes that concept and ramps it up to 90. The film was crazy with the fucking illusions. Notably, the Nick Cage scene just before he gets hit by a train. That you could tell they just told the special effects department, yeah, just go crazy. Do whatever you want.
Oh yeah, I quite like the effects though. I will admit, during like the second time I saw it, they do kind of look like PS4 level effects to me. But then again, I'm a fan of the PS4 Spider-Man, so I'm okay with it. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, one thing that I will also mention the J. Jonah post-credit scenes is that Peter Parker's identity is revealed as Spider-Man, which is going to be interesting since this has never happened to Spider-Man before, and this is like Peter Parker.
That's what they were planning to do at the end of Homecoming whenever Tony gave him the suit, and he's just like, there's a load of journals behind there. You put on the suit, go out there, I'll reveal you. I'll give you your word word.
Yeah.
Reveal. I didn't want that to happen.
Oh, yeah. But then again, let's see, Spider-Man hiding his secret identity is one of the fundamental aspects of his character. Yeah. Same with like the great power, great responsibility, and the Uncle Ben stuff, which is still yet to be really
Mysterio, I mean, like, just reveal the identity out of spite. That's a massive dick move.
Oh, yes, that's definitely a dick move, but yes. Well, the question is, where will Marvel go? I assume Spider-Man will be a fugitive. Though, to be fair, the last time, let's see, in the comics, when they revealed Spider-Man's identity, it eventually involved a deal with the devil in order to reverse the effects, which was the best storyline in Spider-Man's history, but we're not going to go there. But yeah. But there are rumors that the next Spider-Man movie will have Kraven the Hunter in it. But let's see, the little changes they'll do is like having him from Wakanda instead of his Russian origins.
I'll be honest, and we're going to move on to this soon, but I don't think they're going to... I think they're giving Spider-Man a little break for a while. They'll probably include him in Phase 5 or another part of Phase 4, because I don't see Phase 4 lasting 2 years. I see it lasting 5 or 6.
I see, fair enough, but yes. But anyway, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. But that's all we know about Spider-Man at the moment with Far From Home. Yes. And the other post-credit scene is where it was revealed at the end that Nick Fury and Maria Hill, during the entire time, was actually the two Skrulls that we saw in Captain Marvel prequel, Talos and his wife. Filling in for Nick Fury, as he seems to be leading the operation with Skrull, soon to be the upcoming. It's to be the the MCU version of Sword.
Yeah, which is basically, to sum it up, Space Shield. That's really all it is.
Yeah. Space Shield, the ones that deal with the stuff from outer space, really, more than the Shield stuff, which deals with the stuff on Earth for the most part.
But I love seeing people's reactions to that scene though, because it's just the first thing they always question is how long has he been a Skrull? Has it just been this film? Has it been Endgame? How far does this go back? People always, I love the reactions to that. I think he was just a Skrull for that film. To be honest, I don't think it was for anything else.
I think it was for that film, given the fact that, let's see, that was the only time when you could argue Nick Fury didn't seem a bit like himself, given the fact that there's no way that the real Nick Fury would ever probably buy the story that Mysterio was from the get-go, given the fact that he's the #1 spy master. Yeah. But yeah, I pretty much think that was pretty much it. Let's see, so yes. I assume that eventually the big bad for the next few phases of Marvel will probably end up being the Kree Empire.
And that one scene alone made Captain Marvel. It didn't just make it like a backstory to before Avengers or before Iron Man.
Yeah.
It made it a lot. It made the film a lot more important than it ever was.
That is true. Let's see, after all, Captain Marvel has been a bit of a controversial film for the MCU, partly due to Brie Larson's comments, but yes. Anyway, moving on to Phase 4. Judd, I believe you have a timeline for us.
They revealed the timeline of the Disney shows, which they plan to make stuff like Wanda, Loki, Hawkeye, Winter Soldier, and What If, which is after Loki escapes in Endgame. Just basically what happens after that.
Yeah, though from my understanding, Loki that escaped from that is from an alternate timeline, but let's see.
Yeah, I think they're just gonna have a bit of fun with that one.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Anyway, do you want to bring up your list or?
And I can't exactly screen share right now, but I can go through it.
Okay, fair enough. But I do have my own. But I can share screen. Let's see. Do you want me to start with the shows or the movies that are happening?
Well, I would say the first film in Phase 4 is Black Widow.
Yes.
Which I disagree with the timing of that. Considering what happened to her in Endgame, I would have preferred if that was before Endgame.
Yeah, that probably would have been a bit more appropriate. Let's see, I have one more prequel and all that stuff, but this seems to be what they're going to send off Black Widow with. But anyway, I'm just about to bring up the details that Wikipedia has of the film. Let's see. This movie was stated to be exploring something. They've been playing this since 2014, and they've finally done some development. Let's see. What I can tell, this film, let's see, the characters that we start with Black Widow. Let's see. Besides that, will be, let's see, during her time as a KGB agent, will be one called Alexia Shadikaya, also known as Red Guardian, the Russian super soldier counterpart of Captain America, who has a history with Romanov. Let's see, a lot of character. It seems this character will have a lot of changes throughout the film. Someone else called Yelena Belovia, which seems to be another version of Black Widow, which is to be a sister figure to Romanov, and possibly might end up being the legacy version of Black Widow, for all we know, because Marvel do have legacy characters. Let's see, someone, will be known as Mason, an ally of Romanov's past from S.H.I.E.L.D., who's apparently romantically interested in her. And someone called Melin Voskikov, a seasoned spy trained from Red Room who is deeply involved in scientific experiments. And it seems that the antagonist of the film will be Taskmaster.
Yeah, who is, from what I know, is also meant to be the villain of the Avengers game.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. I also know Taskmaster to be the occasional arch foe or rival to Deadpool, or let's see, something like that. Often, from my understanding, Taskmaster has the ability to copy your moves. The only one he can't seem to copy is Deadpool, who is so unpredictable. Let's see. He's generally a standard villain that appears throughout many of the Faris comics, not just the Avengers. I think he's even went toe to toe with the likes of Spiderman. Let's see, Deadpool, the X-Men, all that lot. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Whether or not, let's see, this will be a one-off film for the Taskmaster, or will he be set up for like future films? I assume that they're starting with this movie partly because they want to do a prequel again, and also partly because they want to play a bit safe by starting with a character people are familiar with. Anyway, the second film, The Eternals.
This is the film that I think it was either Guardians 1 or 2. I think it was 2. They ended up revealing some stuff from it, so sort of like Galactus and stuff.
Oh yeah, possibly. I do know that there were the Watchers and the cameos in the Guardians film, but yes, this might be even more. Let's see. I have no idea what this is. Comic book, let's see, thing. Since even more than the Guardians of the Galaxy, because at least with the Guardians of the Galaxy, I briefly knew them from a like one episode of the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon. Let's see. Apparently, they've hired Choli Zhao to direct the film. Let's see, but yeah. Anyway, working down, the cast includes Samara Herrick, Angelina Jolie, Richard Maynard, Camila Nagini, Brie Ty Henry, and Lauren Riddoff. Lee McCuff and Don Lee as Ajak, which that name does sound familiar. Hold on, let me take a look. I think I've seen this. Oh, I don't think I have, but let's see. This is going to be the MCU's version of DC's The New Gods, if any of you are familiar with DC's New Gods and stuff. Apparently, this will be a diverse cast. And apparently, the first deaf superhero in the MCU. Apparently, according to this, the plot will span eons of lifetime that the ancient race known as the Eternals have lived and fought the evil race known as the Deviants. This will be released in November 2020. So, what are your thoughts on this film coming out?
It'll be interesting to see. It's something new that the MCU is doing, which they don't go. They don't really experiment too much with that area of the MCU. It'd be interesting to see, though.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure if I have too much thoughts on it. Besides, from what I've heard, besides Valkyrie, Eternals is meant to have the first fully gay character in the MCU.
Well, like I said, they intend this film to be quite diverse. Let's see, but we'll get on to like the whole diversity thing a bit later. Let's see. But anyway, the next film after that will be
Shang-Chi
and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Apparently, this film will be the Marvel's first Asian lead film with a Chinese-American writer and director. Let's see.
This is probably the only one to where I literally have no experience with anything related to it.
Let's see. Fair enough, but I have seen Chan Li appear a few times in the comics, and from what I can tell, he usually ends up being a character associated with Iron Fist. Let's see. I assume that they're doing him instead of Iron Fist because they tried that with Iron Fist with Netflix, and it didn't happen. But I also think you could argue that they're probably trying to market towards the Chinese audience again for one of their films. Who knows? Which Hollywood films have been doing that over the years because there's a huge market for like Chinese box office numbers. But either way, I also think this might be also what they might be trying to do. They might be trying to do a similar thing with like Black Panther, in which it was to promote, let's see, African American superheroes, and how Black Panther became such a cultural thing for like, let's see, back in 2017. 2018. Heck, it made $1.3 billion, which I'm surprised it made that much money for the first time outing for an MCU movie, since it took 3 films for both Iron Man and Captain America to make $1 billion. And all that stuff. But yeah. Let's see. No, I don't really know much besides, let's see, Shang-Chi. let's see, besides being associated with Iron Fist, though he probably has his own solo titles, perhaps. The Ten Rings, I do know, is associated with the Mandarin, who is mostly regarded as Iron Man's arch nemesis. But given the fact that in Iron Man 3, they did a twist where the Mandarin wasn't fake, which, depending on where you stand, either is very clever and funny, or very.
Oh, this is an unpopular opinion, but I didn't really have much of a problem with that twist.
Fair enough, but yeah, but yeah. For me, I felt emotions of. I found it funny and and as angry at the same time. Partly because I knew a bit of Iron Man lore back then. I was like, ah. Let's see. Granted, I will admit. Let's see. I think the twist was, for most part, funny and all that stuff, and to some extent, you could argue clever. But at the same time, I'm still disappointed that the fact that we did not get the proper, let's see, Mandarin and all that stuff. But it seems that there will be bringing in the Mandarin for this film here to be Shang-Chi's arch foe. Let's see, but I was wondering when. But let's see, but to be honest, I was expecting the actual Mandarin to come up at some point because. Let's see. Do you know that? Did you know that Marvel did a mini little? Let's see, one shot. Let's see, special where. Let's see, the guy who portrayed the fake Mandarin was interviewed by a guy in prison, who then kidnapped him, stating that he will show him to the real Mandarin.
No.
Let's see, but yes, that is. Whoops. Oops, sitting me. I'm just sharing screen. Going back. Sorry, but yeah, but so I knew for a while that they're probably going to bring back the Mandarin in some form. I just didn't realize it would be with like this. Would be with Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. But yeah. But from my understanding, the Ten Rings are either magic rings or alien technology, depending on which version. That gives the wearer, let's see, quite let's see, amazing powers. But yeah. Anyway, the next film will be that's identified is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which let's see, Doctor Strange will return. Let's see, alongside Elizabeth Olsen, who's known as Maximoff Wanda / Scarlet Witch. But this film is apparently announced to be more horror styled, the intentions of being the first scary MCU.
I think it's what are you with Doctor Strange or Wanda?
I'm sorry, what?
We are with Doctor Strange or Wanda.
Oh yeah. Let's see, I'm not sure who would be scarier, but it'd probably be more likely, let's see, Wanda, because her abilities are more frightening.
I'm more on about which one are we on about here? The Wanda series or the film? Or
no,
we're
talking about the film, because Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. We'll have, let's see, Scarlet Witch alongside her. Let's see, I assume that this movie seems to be set up to announce. Let's see to set up. Let's see, there is nothing Wanda Maximoff is in this film. It's mostly to set up. Let's see the future Disney Plus series WandaVision, and also to set up the multiverse thing, which was first teased in Homecoming, but turned out to be a fake from Mysterio.
Yeah. Yeah. The multiverse, yeah, it seems they're sticking within this continuity now, and it seems once they do the multiverse, which there's some stuff in this timeline we haven't talked about, stuff like Fantastic Four and stuff like that. They'll probably pull those out of the multiverse, or different versions of the Avengers, which they could, if Marvel really wanted to be assholes about it, they could pull a different version of Tony back. But I don't think. Oh, that would piss off the fans too much.
Oh yeah. Well, they'll probably do. Let's see a multiverse where Iron Man is still alive somewhere. Let's see. And you occasionally see him now and then. I don't think they'll make him as one of the main things, but yes. And the final film apparently announced in Phase 4, which would be it seems to be for this one, it will be Thor: Love and Thunder, which let's see. There have been the rumors that there would be a fourth Thor, since Chris Hemsworth stated he's got a real interest in playing Thor since Ragnarok, since let's see, the first film and The Dark World, let's see, didn't really like that much, so he lost interest. But let's see, but now it seems with him coming back, like with him getting much enjoying, let's see, for Ragnarok, it seems he has a much more new interest with the character and wants to do more films. But from what it seems this film is, I'm not sure if for himself will appear, but it seems that the director for of Ragnarok, Watiti, has signed on to. Oh wait, it seems like Swift will appear in this film, along with Thompson as well, and Natalie Portman will also return.
Who is meant to take over as a female Thor?
Ah, yes. It's from the sounds of this film. Let's see. Valkyrie will be looking for a queen in order to promote her. Let's see. Her LGBTQIA plus. Blimey, that's getting.
My question is, with Thor after Endgame being with Guardians, I'm assuming Guardians 3 is going to have to happen first, and then the Thor film, or else things are going to get pretty weird.
I don't know. Let's see. It's possible that this might happen before Guardians. Let's see, 3, and this is just going to have a cameo of the Guardians or something. But I'm not sure really. But what's going on? But it seems like this film will mostly be focused on Force successor and all that stuff, along with Valkyrie. But the question is, I'm just one because I know that let's see, Natalie Portman and Jane Foster becomes let's see a female Thor in the comics. In many ways, you could argue that the Marvel did that in the comics just so that they could eventually do this film, in case they wanted to replace Chris Hemsworth as Thor, because they wanted to do a more of a legacy thing. But let's see, not having to keep repeatedly change the actors for the same character, because no one would buy that, especially with the big ones. But yeah, but yes, it's my biggest curiosity is like. Let's see if Natalie Portman, Jane Foster becoming Thor is how's she going to get the powers? Is she going to get from like the axe? Let's see, Stormbreaker, or is Mjolnir going to be recreated and be given to her?
Well, wasn't it already recreated in Endgame?
No, that was from an alternate timeline. It was sent back to its proper time.
Oh, right. Oh, yes, it was. They would probably have to recreate it.
Yeah, because I assume that, let's see, they don't want to take Thor's Stormbreaker from him and stuff. Let's see, in many ways, it's possible that the reason why they had Thor get Stormbreaker in the end is because they wanted to remove the hammer Mjolnir from Thor so they can give it to someone else. And it seems like that someone else will be Jane Foster's female Thor.
Yeah.
Yes. So, are you excited for this film, or?
Yeah. I'm a fan of sort of YTD stuff. If you ever watch any of his other stuff he did before, like What We Do in the Shadows, he seems to be really good at writing situational comedy. And then Chris Hemsworth is just a pretty good comedic actor in general that I don't think they realized until he was later on in the MCU.
Oh, yeah.
So they just sort of combine that, and I'll be honest, the first time I went into Ragnarok, I wasn't really expecting much since the first two Thor films kind of bored me. In fact, whenever I rewatched it after Endgame, I sort of skipped Thor 1.
I see. One thing I will say about let's see, Chris Hemsworth. I did know he had some comedic talent because he was fine playing as that Kevin fellow in the Ghostbusters film, even though you could argue the character was a bit too dumb in that film, and also the fact that that movie tries too hard to be funny when it's not, when some things it's not funny in that film. But let's not get back to that Ghostbusters controversy. That's a whole lot of blah blah blah. But yes. But these are so far the 5 films announced for the MCU: Black Widow, The Eternals, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Doctor Strange, and Thor: Love and Thunder. 3 of those films with familiar characters, and 2 with whole brand new ones.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the stuff we haven't mentioned yet. Briefly mention Guardians 3 and Fantastic Four there, which aren't up there. There's the mutant film, which keeps getting delayed.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute, but I just wanted to go to this because that's apparently going to be possibly Phase 5. But anyway, now let's talk about the Disney streaming shows. Let's see. What we have is like the 5 shows you've mentioned: The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Loki, What If, and Hawkeye. Each of them apparently, the first one being 6 episodes, the other ones being 6 to 8, and these are all coming out in early 2021.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm not too sure on what to think about these ones. I think it's just sort of a bit of development, but I'm not sure if it'll be completely 110% canon.
Let's see. I don't know. Let's see. From my understanding, let's see, they tried making canon shows before with Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Netflix shows to be sort of tie into the MCU, but it seems like they just went in their own different directions from each other and stuff. And I think the Kevin Feige has like often ignored those shows and let's see, streamed his own films. Well, he seems to be a bit more involved for this one. Let's see. But yeah, it seems to be a way of, let's see, giving actors from the films who aren't going to be appearing in the films anytime soon, films something to do while they wait for the next film to appear in, if that makes sense. But yeah. Anyway, the first one, the one I'm probably most interested in, and I'm probably going to need to buy Disney Plus stream for this. And again, I have been meaning to try and do that, partly so I can watch the new Star Wars TV shows and the final season of Clone Wars. But yes, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Let's see, even though the Falcon has become Captain America at this point. The two, originally had expressed interest in doing a spin-off film with each other, apparently as a comedy duo. And from what it seems like, let's see, this will be they'll be exploring their adventures post, let's see, Endgame as, let's see, the new Captain America and Bucky. Yeah. From what I can tell, it seems from Wikipedia, you've got the characters. We have returning roles of, let's see, Emily V. Camp and Dana Brody to reprise their roles as Sharon Carter and Baron Helmut Zemo, who's part of the villain to survive but at the end of the film. Which I'm okay with, but I'm just curious to see, but yeah. And it'll be interesting to see how Sharon Carter will be now, since her possible love interest in Captain America has gone back in time to go with her great aunt. A bit ill, kind of thing.
Some Back to the Future level stuff.
Possibly, yeah. Who knows? It's possible she'll either get a romance with either the new Cap or maybe Bucky, or just become a sort of friend of theirs. But yeah, it seems like Helmut Zemo will be the antagonist for this series, which will be interesting. Because I knew that they were probably bringing back at some point, but I didn't realize it would be for a streaming show. I figured, let's see, they'll be building him up to form the Masters of Evil, because that's what I know Zemo for in the comics. And enemy of Captain America, who forms like a sort of, let's see, the anti-Avengers superhero team. But yeah. But it seems like for the moment they're keeping him in stream shows. Whether or not he'll be the series' longest serving antagonist or just a one season villain, I'm not. But yeah, I'm excited for this.
The one I'm looking forward to is Wanda, because one of my complaints with her was that she didn't get enough development. She had cool powers. She had vision and stuff, but she didn't have enough development.
Oh yeah, she, along with Vision, only had 3 films to develop their romance, and they were side characters. So in many ways, they didn't have probably enough time to fully explore their thing. Now that Vision is properly dead, though this one, it seems like they will be returned as Vision will be. This Vision will play from a parallel universe.
Yeah.
See, apparently someone else who will be returning for this role will be Monica Rambeau, who was that little girl from Captain Marvel, and who has been Captain Marvel herself, I think. Or Miss Marvel herself in like one of the films. So who knows? She might end up. She might end up being a sidekick for Captain Marvel in the future when they do her next movie.
Yeah.
And apparently this show will lead into like the Doctor Strange multiverse thing. But yeah. So it's possible we might get, let's see, Vision back in the multiverse for the Doctor Strange movie.
It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, it also depends. Let's see or it's possible that this could be before Infinity War or something like that, but who knows? And the next one, which is really curious because it has Loki, which apparently will star Hiddleston returning for the role. Let's see. Apparently, I believe this will follow a version of Loki who stole the Space Stone in 2012 during the Avengers Endgame. So this one is taking place in the multiverse. So yeah, we'll have a villainous Loki again, rather than the one that we've gotten in Dark World and Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
In many ways, people, if you didn't like the Loki turning good, let's see, in like Thor Ragnarok, you get a villainous version to follow. At least, yeah. And next one after that is What If, which is based on the comic book series What If, where it usually does these one-shot stories of what if, let's see, Uncle Ben didn't get shot? What if Spider-Man joins the Fantastic Four? What if Captain America was never unfrozen from ice? What if, let's see, Magneto rules the world? Stuff like that. What if this hero dies? What if this hero survives? Stuff like that. It seems to be based on, and it seems to be an animated series. I'm not sure. It'll probably be mini episodes, probably 5 or something. Apparently, it will reprise many people from like various parts of the MCU voicing their characters. Let's see, coming back to their roles, but in like outside continuity from the main MCU timeline. So there's like that. It seems like the narrator would be Uta the Watcher, who, if anyone doesn't know, it's like, let's see, the Watchers are like these sort of unlimited beings who watch the universe, never intervene, and record history. Hello, Skullman. Let's see. I'm glad you're I'm glad you're watching from in the side chat, but yeah. See, but yeah. But yeah. See, but yeah. So yeah. And funny enough, I heard that originally they planned to explain all of Stan Lee cameos, being Stan Lee being Uta the Watcher, but that seemed to be scrapped. Instead, he was just having Stan Lee talking to multiple Utas. Yeah. So, you interested in this What If series, or?
Um, as someone who watches Westworld, a couple of actors of it are going under this. I think like one of them is voice acting some of the Watchers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like a fun idea. I wouldn't take the whole thing too seriously. Just something to sort of watch if out of curiosity. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, what if Tony didn't do the snap? What if? I'm trying to think of other things. Just different things happen in the MCU. Like, what if that didn't happen?
apparently Skullman 8942 said they think they confirmed that the first What If episode was to be told to be centered around what would have happened if Peggy Carter was given the super serum instead of Cap. Okay, that would be interesting.
By the way, I think Skullman is Josh.
Oh yeah, Josh. Okay, so hello, Josh. Let's see, but yes. But yeah, probably because he's got a Tony Bennett Etsy icon. But yeah.
Yeah. Hawkeye is probably the one I'm least interested in.
Oh yeah, Clint Barkin's Hawkeye. Often regarded as the joke of like the origin of 6 MCU into possibly either Age of Ultron or Endgame. But yeah. Let's see. It seems like he's finally getting his own, let's see, solo outing as Hawkeye Now, instead of a movie, it's going to be a stream, and apparently it's him passing the mantle of Hawkeye to the character Kate Bishop, who I know is like a, let's see, young female archer who is often regarded as, let's see, Hawkeye's Barton's partner and future successor in the comics. Yes, Skullman has confirmed that he is Josh. So yeah. So yeah, quite an interesting lineup. It seems that this Phase 4 will be experimental, at least, to say, with like its plus streaming services and its 5 films. But anyway, apparently, let's see, but that's not all. But let's see, but apparently that's not all that the MCU has to offer. As said,
There's again part of me thinks some of this stuff's gonna be pushed into Phase 5 because there's a lot of stuff to work with here. There's Guardians 3, which I already mentioned. Fantastic Four, Blade's another one I haven't mentioned.
Oh yes, and Black Panther 2 and Captain Marvel 2. Let's
Yeah.
see. Apparently, these 5 films will be a part of Phase 5. Let's see, apparently. So many of the characters they introduced in Phase 3 will be having a apparent break in Phase 4, but will reprise their roles in Phase 5.
And then they probably also have to confirm at least sometime Spider-Man 3.
Oh yeah. So and I believe it has been confirmed that there will be another Avengers movie, but it'll have an entirely different cast from what we're usually known for. So I assume it'll be the new Avengers that we've gotten by the end of Phase 3, and possibly some of the characters they'll introduce in the new films from Phase 4, and this Phase 5 with like the Fantastic Four and X-Men.
That's one thing I've noticed. Like, this is the first phase without any sort of Avengers film at all. I'm guessing they're trying to put that to bed for a bit.
I think they're trying to give it a sort of like a mini sort of break, partly because in the last phase you had 2 Avengers movies. So yeah. But yeah. So there's no grand final crossover for this one. It seems the final for Phase 4 will be the Thor Ragnarok. I mean, the Thor 4 movie. That's a mouthful. But yeah. Let's see. Ooh, Josh has said Fantastic Four, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Black Panther 2, Captain Marvel 2, Blade, another Spider-Man, and something with the mutants. We Phase 6, like you have said. But yeah. Yes. Let's see.
Yeah, there's a lot to work with here, so I don't think they're going to be able to cram it all in one phase.
Oh yes. Let's see. I'm a bit curious with what they will do with the X-Men. Since let's see, what would their mutant team be? Will they have Wolverine, or will they try to put some distance? Since most people view Hugh Jackman as the definitive version of Wolverine.
Well, they'll have to recast everybody, and I'll be surprised if they kept a few of them.
Oh yeah.
Considering their contracts with Fox. Yeah.
Let's see. There's also a question of whether or not there'll be some multiverse hopping from like the Fox mutants into the MCU ones, but who knows? But yeah, there'll definitely be. I definitely think they're probably going to have Professor X and Magneto at some point. Let's see. They might have Cyclops, maybe Jean Grey, or maybe not. The Distance from the Dark Phoenix stuff. They're probably going to bring in Storm, possibly, stuff like that. But yes. But let's see. Wait, hold on a second. I've got a call. That's just my mum. Is going to tell her. Let's see. Sorry about that. Let's see, but yeah. Let's see. From what I can tell, in the Fantastic Four, one thing I'm curious is, well, they're bringing back the Fantastic Four, and I'm sure you know by now who are the main Fantastic Four characters. My biggest question is, will they bring in Doctor Doom for this film, or will they try to distance Doctor Doom for a while before bringing him in?
I think I've had disagreements with different people with this, but I think we'll try and make him the next big bad of the MCU.
Oh yes, I do think that's what they're probably gonna. I do feel like that. That's probably one of the reasons why they want the Fantastic Four, because let's see, if there's any character that could possibly replace Thanos as the big bad of the MCU, it'd probably be Doctor Doom. Given the fact
I would find it really funny. if Marvel just recast Chris Evans as Johnny Storm without saying a thing and just pretending like the whole Captain America thing didn't happen. I would just find that really funny.
Oh, yeah. Or even make a joke saying, hey, you look awfully familiar. But yeah. But yes, that'll be interesting. But from what I can tell, I think Chris Evans wants to distance himself for the MCU for a while. Maybe appear as a Cap or something, but yeah.
I would just find that really funny if it did happen.
I assume if they're bringing Doctor Doom, I assume that they'll probably eventually do the storyline Secret Wars, which you have a bunch of heroes and villains gathering together to battle it out to determine which side is better, or evil, possibly. But I don't know, because that's probably one of the most famous stories that involves Doctor Doom. And possibly it's probably also the first major crossover event that Marvel ever did with its comics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Granted, they could also possibly, if they're bringing in back the X-Men, they could also possibly bring in, let's see, the mutant villains, Magneto, let's see, Apocalypse, let's see, the Dark Phoenix, who are also all-time big bads for the for like Marvel and all that stuff. Though Magneto's also been a bit of an anti-hero over the recent years, but yeah, who knows? They could do that. Let's see. They could also do the other one I can possibly think of is Galactus.
Yeah, but I think they're probably going to stick him in the Eternals film.
Oh yeah, probably that.
So I don't. That's the thing with trying to top Thanos, right? You've had him hyped up for 11 years.
Oh yeah.
I don't think you're going to be able to do that again.
Oh yeah. In many ways, I think Star Wars has always struggled to try and replace Darth Vader as the main big bad for their films. Let's see, but yeah. I mean, once you've got this like one villain that's so iconic for your franchise, nothing else tops it.
Yeah.
Let's see. I believe DC will have the same problem when they finally introduce Darkseid to their universe, since technically the Darkseid ripoff came first. All that stuff, but yeah. Let's see, but yeah.
Overall, that's Phase 4.
Yeah. Ooh, and Josh has said another thing saying, I'm most excited for the second Doctor Strange film. That will open up a lot of new possibilities. That is true, especially the multiverse. With multiple universes, I don't see that couldn't happen. I'm not sure what that's referring to. But see, and another definitely is hyping up Doctor Doom. That's possibly what they might do. But yeah. It's possible that to try and differentiate from, let's see, Thanos, they'll probably have Doctor Doom appear in quite a few films and then find him taking his role as the big bad. Possibly conquering the Earth or the multiverse, I don't know, something like that. But yeah. So, out of curiosity, I just got a bit of a question for you, Gerard. Since Iron Man and Captain America were regarded as the two, and I suppose Thor was regarded as the big three of the MCU, or more specifically, Iron Man and Captain America was referred to as the two main Avengers. Now that they're gone, who do you think should be the center of the MCU now?
Well, I think Marvel's trying to make Spiderman the face of the MCU at this stage.
To an extent, it seems they might also be trying to do that with Captain Marvel as the new powerhouse.
Yeah, so sort of Captain Marvel and Spider-Man will probably be the head of it.
Let's see. To be fair, I don't really think that those two roles necessarily work with those two characters. Particularly since Spider-Man's supposed to be more everyman superhero, he's not really that. Supposed to be connected with all the big universe Marvel stuff. It's mostly just to be like the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Of course, they kicked that out of the bucket, and they've been trying to make him the new Iron Man. But hey, and as for Captain Marvel, I think people have. She might just be a bit too controversial right now, partly due to how. People complain how OP she is or something, or just mainly Brie Larson's comments that have drawn controversy of her about the movie being a role for feminists and stuff. But hey, personally, if I was Marvel, I'd be trying to make Black Panther and Thor Chris Hemsworth for as the new focus of the MCU, partly because everyone really liked Black Panther, and also because Chris Hemsworth is one of the last of the original big three of the MCU, and everyone's starting to really like Thor as a character now. And it's
Well, I would say that Chris Hemsworth only has a couple of films more left in his contract. That's the thing.
yeah, it's true.
And he's starting to branch off and doing different stuff like Men in Black now.
Ah, I see. Yeah, that movie. No, from my understanding, that movie got negative reviews. Did that? But I can't
Yeah,
tell if box office success or not because I haven't checked.
yeah, I liked it.
Fair enough. I haven't seen the film. Ooh, and apparently Josh was referring to the Chris Evans playing Cap and Human Torch. Oh yes, a reference to your joke. But yes, yeah, I could definitely see that happening in the multiverse. Let's see. And Skoma and Josh is saying Dad board 4 for the win. I assume he's referring to Fat 4.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to keep the Fat 4? You think he'll be more similar to what he was beforehand?
Um. The whole point of the whole Fat Thor thing was that basically he had lost everything at that stage and he had just given up.
Oh, yeah. So it's probably he'll be back to more of his regular 4 self a bit.
Probably. Though Chris Hemsworth, he has a workout and a half ahead of him if he wants to get back into shape the way he was.
Fair enough. No, so was that intentionally fat or was that CGI fat? I just couldn't tell.
I'm pretty sure it was intentional.
Oh, okay. But in the case, yeah, he'll probably be needing a bit of a workout. He'll be back to normal after Guardians of the Galaxy 3, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and from what I can tell, let's see, Men in Black 4, let's see, made 250 million in the box office out of a 94 to 110 million budget, so it's at least broke even. So probably,
So it did all right.
yeah, it'll probably mean that there might be another Men in Black film at some point. But yeah. But it's because everyone seems to be trying to make their own cinematic universes after the MCU. And it seems none of them are succeeding. Though it seems like DC is starting to finally get their track on. But yeah. Let's see. But so, anything else?
I'm not too. I think we've went over most stuff.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Sorry. Just before, let's see. Apparently, Josh says he's still in shape. He wore a fat suit. But anyway.
All right.
Yeah, but you were saying, sorry?
I think we've went over most of the stuff.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
The bunch.
So, but since you and I here, we've both shown that we're both still interested in watching Marvel movies after Phase 3, because I know some people have, said after Phase 3 they're done with Marvel movies.
Yeah, I'd still say there's more to go from here. I think they're only trying to expand it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame them if they dropped off after Endgame.
Yeah, because in many ways that could serve up as a perfect finale. Let's see, and you at least have something that you can consider an end point with stuff that just seems to go on and on and on, franchises where they just lose their quality of films. But anyway, speaking of that, I heard there's a bit of controversy. Let's see, there might be a bit of controversy with the more diverse cast, because I know that this has gone on for a while, but some are saying that Marvel is becoming too SJW with its castings and characters. I don't know.
Well, if we end up looking at stuff like Jane Foster, been in the comics since the 70s, I wouldn't exactly say, SJW, Captain Marvel, that has to be a woman. That's never been a man.
Well, from what I understand, the original Captain Marvel was actually a dude, but it was a male Kree. Though granted, Captain Marvel was originally Miss Marvel in the comics, but they became Captain Marvel when the first Captain Marvel eventually died. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, I don't really see the whole perspective of that, to be honest.
Yeah, it might just be. Let's see. Okay, Bob Velvis is like. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. A little bit talking about Boris Johnson becoming PM for those who are not, let's see, UK watchers. Let's see. Well, let's see. Let's see. Our next PM. Let's see. UK Trump. Let's see. Closest I can. Let's see. Do a comparison to. Let's see. But we have these MCU films to enjoy for the time being. But from looks like World Purpose is saying, low, less diversity, please, and less SJW.
Who
Okay.
said this?
Blood Velvis.
All right.
Velvis, sorry. I keep calling him Blood Velvis.
I don't see what it means about SJW, but okay.
But yes. I don't know. I just know some people have just accused, let's see, of Marvel being SJW. But personally, from what I've seen, I don't think it's really that bad. Maybe a little obvious areas, but for the most part, I think they've handled it quite well. Also, I don't think, let's see, I still remember the controversy with some people saying they're going to be Marvel. Let's see, but that didn't return. But that film still made 1.3 billion, so I doubt that will be an effect. Apparently, he's saying hi to you, Gerd.
Hi.
But yeah. So anyway, that's probably everything we've got to talk about, right?
I think so.
Unless you want anything else you want to talk about.
I think we went over everything.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's see. This is Blue Star Saber and Jared signing out. Thank you for joining us for this discussion on the MCU.
Bye bye.
Let's see. And